Following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the Tiafangi coming to you with an extra special SOL Transformers video review. This is part 1 of a multi-part review. As of this recording, I don't know how many parts there are, so I apologize for not saying so. However, the title of the video is no lie. We are going to be taking a look at a Transformers figure that I have been waiting 9 years to add to my Transformers collection. I was finally able to get it 2 months ago off of eBay, and it now holds the title of being the most expensive Transformers action figure I have ever purchased. I spent $700 on this Transformers figure, an insane amount I know, but it was worth it to finally add this Transformers figure to my collection. So we will be taking a look at the box first of this Transformers action figure, and it is the Transformers Generation Thrilling 30 Titan Class Metroplex. Oh man, I can't believe it. I've been waiting 9 years to get a hold of Metroplex. I'm just thrilled to finally have this behemoth in my Transformers collection. Metroplex used to be the only Titan Class Transformers figure I didn't have in my Transformers collection, but when I found him on eBay a few months ago, going for a price that I knew I could afford, I figured I'd take the plunge, take a leap of faith, and add him to my collection. And I do not regret at the amount I paid to finally get Metroplex here now. One thing that some people have found somewhat disappointing about this is the Hasbro release of Metroplex. One thing that some Transformers fans and collectors have found over the years since this figure was released disappointing is that the other versions of Metroplex that were released as exclusives, there was one at Hong Kong. There was one released by Takara Tomy in Japan. I think there might have been a San Diego Comic-Con release of Metroplex. And basically every version of Metroplex, except for this one, the one that Hasbro released here in the United States at mass retail, Metroplex comes with a weapon of a large red laser gun, but all the other versions came with 2 of them. This is the only version of Metroplex that came with just 1 laser gun, and that's been a drawback for Transformers fans and collectors. But for me, I was able, a few weeks after I got Metroplex, I was able to find someone selling one of Metroplex's laser guns on eBay used. It doesn't come with the missile, unfortunately, but my copy of Metroplex now has 2 of the cannons, just like the Hong Kong, Takara Tomy, and San Diego Comic-Con releases of Metroplex, so I'm really happy about that. So here on the front of the box, you got some artwork on Metroplex, and when he was released back in 2014 in the Transformers Generations Thrilling 30/IDW line, Metroplex became the first ever Titan Class Transformers figure, and with the release of Metroplex and him being called a Titan Class size Transformers figure, that set the standard for large size Transformers characters such as Metroplex here being called Titans. So this is where the trend of the Titans started with Metroplex, and because he is 2 feet tall, the first Transformers figure to ever reach 2 feet tall, Hasbro and Takara Tomy decided to let everyone know Metroplex at the time when he was released in 2013 was the biggest ever Transformers action figure. So yes, this is the first Transformers figure the second one actually, to boast the title of being biggest ever Transformers figure, and I believe Metroplex is the only one where it's actually been set on his box. It says he's over 2 feet tall, and it says actual size that it really is 2 feet tall. Unfortunately, Metroplex is not as large as the image here of his artwork on the front of the box. Here on the box, Metroplex shows a bunch of other Transformers figures that were released in the Thrilling 30 line. On here, running about on top of him, you've got him, and he's got some other Transformers action characters who were given action figures in the Thrilling 30 line. You've got Optimus Prime. You've got, I believe it's I think it's supposed to be Skids, but it's actually the blue Diaclone version of Trailbreaker on his shoulder. You've got Bumblebee, you've got Hoist, and infamously, here on Metroplex's box, this image of Sandstorm in his helicopter mode, that was the first ever image of the Generation Thrilling 30 Sandstorm figure. So Transformers fans and collectors got to know that we were getting a Voyager class sized figure of Sandstorm in the Generations Thrilling 30 line via the image of him here on Metroplex's box. And so, because that was an Easter egg of an upcoming Transformers action figure, in the other Titan Class figure that's being released later this year in the Transformers Legacy line, which is also Metroplex, although it's the Transformers Cybertron 2005 version of him, on the artwork of the Legacy Cybertron Metroplex's box, there's an image of Beast Wars Inferno getting blasted to bits, and so a lot of Transformers fans and collectors have taken that as confirmation that, just like Sandstorm here on the G1 on Metroplex's box, that the image of Beast Wars Inferno on Legacy Cybertron Metroplex's box is confirmation that we are in fact getting a Voyager class size figure of Beast Wars Inferno in the Legacy line. What a mouthful that was for me to say. So here on the top of the box, you've got the Transformers Generations logo from the Thrilling 30 line. This logo lasted 2.5 years. It actually started with the Fall of Cybertron line in 2012, and it lasted until the end of the Thrilling 30 line in 2014 before it was replaced by a new Generations logo in 2015, starting with Combiner Wars. Here on this side of the box, you've got an image of all of Metroplex X's modes. You've got his city mode on top. You've got his... it's called his vehicle mode. On Generation 1 Metroplex, it was basically a mobile battle fortress. Basically, imagine a aircraft carrier that rolled on giant wheels on the land instead of on the ocean, and that's what Metroplex's battle station mode took some design cues from. And then it also advertises some of his gimmicks. You can fire a missile out of the one cannon that he comes with, but thanks to the immaculate world of eBay is what I like to jokingly call the website sometimes. I now have 2 cannons, but only 1 missile, but hopefully I'll be able to find another second missile one day. And then one of the highlights of Metroplex is that he comes packaged with one of his 3 partner robots of Autobot Scamper. Scamper is the old school Legends class size that was actually introduced with the Thrilling 30 line in 2013. Legends class size Transformers lasted throughout the Thrilling 30, Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and Power of the Primes lines before they were replaced by the Micromaster 2-packs in Siege and Earthrise. But then in the Kingdom line, Legends class size Transformers came back, rebranded as Core class Transformers, so Scamper is roughly the same size as Kingdom Rat Trap, and Kingdom Core class Optimus Prime, Legacy Iguanus. You get the idea. And then Metroplex also has lights and sounds located inside his head. And so when you press the button on his chest here, his eyeballs light up, and he speaks voices right here. Here's the Autobot logo from the Thrilling 30 line. On this side of the box, you've got a close-up of Metroplex's face, and something that hasn't been seen since the Thrilling 30 line in 2014, you've got a bio and tech specs for Metroplex printed here on this side of the box. So the bio for Metroplex reads, "The most vast and mighty Autobot ever created, Metroplex is a member of a race long thought of as nothing more than legend. He is impossibly ancient, brought online in a time before the long memory of his Autobot comrades even began. He is a living artifact of an era when Cybertron was united and needed defenders only against hostile outsiders. It is his memory of that peaceful past that drives him to fight for the Autobots. It is hope for the return of peace that motivates him to crush every Decepticon he can see beneath his mighty feet." So yes, even though I keep calling this figure Generation 1 Metroplex, it's actually based more off of Metroplex from the Transformers franchise that was known as the Aligned Continuity. And for those of you who have never heard of the Aligned Continuity, it basically means that starting in 2010 with the Transformers War vs. Cybertron video game, not to be confused with the War vs. Cybertron trilogy, but the War vs. Cybertron video game in 2010, the Fall of Cybertron video game sequel that was released in 2012, of the issues of IDW's comic books that were coming out at that time, and then the Transformers cartoons that were airing on television at the time, Transformers Prime and its sequel series Robots in Disguise 2015, and even the Prime Wars trilogy of Titans Return, Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and Power of the Primes. All those different subgroups, sub-franchises of the Transformers, Hasbro tried to link all of them together into one storyline, despite blatant inconsistencies such as the origins of different Transformers characters and different storyline and different moments at which the Transformers left Cybertron and traveled through space and arrived on planet Earth. Hasbro tried to make it all take place within the same universe, and they never came up with any ways to try and explain away the blatant inconsistencies. They just pick and chose which of the different stories could line up together into one franchise. So the idea is that Metroplex is in the aligned continuity. Unlike Generation 1, where he's a fairly recently created Autobot, he's actually an ancient Autobot who existed as similar to Omega Supreme, where he was a guardian of planet Cybertron. He was reactivated during the Transformers Great War between Optimus Prime and Megatron. He fought the Decepticons long enough to allow Optimus Prime and the other Autobots to escape, and then in IDW's comic books, Metroplex, after it looked like the war was going to be lost to the Decepticons, he fled Cybertron and traveled to a different planet to reestablish himself, and the other Autobots gave after Metroplex, knowing that his power as a Titan would help them to finally bring about an end to the Transformers War, especially after Megatron lost the fight in him, quit the Decepticons, and became an Autobot. So yeah, that is Metroplex's story in the background image. So here's an image. Here's the back of the box. You got an image of Metroplex in his robot mode. I believe this image on the back of the box is supposed to be size accurate to how big Metroplex actually is inside. Alright, here's his laser gun. Again, biggest Transformers ever. It's nice and elevated and laminated section on here. And I apologize, I forgot to read Metroplex's tech specs here on this side of the box. Metroplex has a strength of infinity, an intelligence of 9, a speed of 4, an endurance of infinity, a rank of 9, a courage of infinity, a fire blast of infinity, and a skill of 4. And if you think I'm making up the Infinity logo on here, there it is. There's the Infinity sign on the top of the chart above the number 10. So yes, Metroplex is arguably one of the strongest Autobots to ever be created. One thing about Metroplex is that for some Transformers fans and collectors, in their minds, Metroplex is in fact the physically largest out of all of the Autobots. For me personally, I have to confess, no. For me, Metroplex is not the physically largest of all the Autobots. He is the second largest. The one Autobot that I have always believed is larger than Metroplex is in fact Fortress Maximus, and that's because in the Transformers Generation 1 line, Metroplex's original Generation 1 action figure that was released in 1986, it's roughly the same size as the G1 Autobot combiners. It is bulkier, I will admit. It in Metroplex is made to look more muscular, whereas the combiners end up looking a little more skeletal due to how they combined. But Generation 1 for Metroplex, the top of him came up to Generation 1 Fortress Maximus's waist, so I have always believed that Fortress Maximus is the physically largest of all the Autobots. But Metroplex is, in my opinion, a very close second, so here's an image of Metroplex on the back of his box. Right here, another thing that isn't on Transformers packaging anymore is difficulty level, showing how difficult it is to transform the Transformers action figures. And in the Thrilling 30 line, the scale was 0 to 3. You had 0, which was no transformation, 1, which is easy, and Metroplex, according to Hasbro, is a level 2. He's an intermediate level of difficulty of transformation, and then level 3, which is the hardest level, was hard. So there is some truth to that. From all the video reviews I've seen of people who've already looked at Metroplex X, as far as difficulty transforming him, even though he is really large, there's very few steps to actually transforming Metroplex, and when you know what you're doing, there have been Transformers action figures that are physically smaller than Metroplex that are more difficult to transform. So I can justify Hasbro and Takara Tomy saying that he has an intermediate level of transformation. Now, one last thing that I am happy about this copy of Metroplex that I got off of eBay is this right here. These two strips of tape are the original pieces of tape that were applied to the box at the factory back in 2013. So this is why this version of Metroplex cost me so much, because it is brand new. It is technically brand new in an unsealed box. The average aftermarket price that Metroplex is going for, since he's now a 9-year-old Transformers action figure, that when he originally was released back in 2013. Metroplex was the first ever mass retail Transformers figure to have a price tag of over $100. Metroplex originally cost $130. The price of Titan Class Transformers has gone on up in the 9 years since it was introduced with Metroplex. The last two Titan Class Transformers figures that were released, it might actually be the last three. Yeah, it's the last three that were released, which were Titan Class Earthrise Scorponok, the Kingdom Arc, and the Legacy/Generation Selects Black Zarak. Those Titans have had an average price tag of about $170, so in the 9 years since the Titan Class size Transformer has been released, the price tag of it has gone up by $40. I honestly don't know if that's because of inflation rates or just Hasbro and Takara Tomy deciding to overly price their Transformers figures. But the point I'm getting at is that since this action figure Metroplex, despite the box having wear and tear around the edges, it was worth it to get this figure brand new, still inside of its box. So I am really thrilled to have that. So yeah, Metroplex lived up to the word thrilling in the Thrilling 30 line by being a thrilling Transformers action figure to collect. So there's the Thrilling 30 logo right there. Here from this line, Metroplex was the crown jewel of the Thrilling 30 line. Everyone wanted to go out and get Metroplex. And sad story, I actually saw Metroplex one time at Toys R Us when Toys R Us was still open for business here in the United States back in 2013 when he was released. I did not have enough money to get Metroplex the day I saw him at Toys R Us, and I begged my family to buy him for me, and I promised them when I got the money I'd pay them back, but my family adamantly told me no, I'd have to get something worth $130 on my own. And the following month, when I finally got enough money to buy Metroplex, I went back to Toys R Us, and he was sold out. He was gone. And so I missed out the opportunity of getting Metroplex at retail price by that slim amount of a margin. So it is a kick to my ego knowing that I had to wait 9 years and pay almost seven times his retail price tag to finally get Metroplex X. But again, I am just overjoyed to finally have Metroplex in my Transformers collection. And his box is enormous. I mean, I have to lean back just to get the whole thing in frame for you guys. And the box is so enormous that from the back side, it's so enormous I can't get it in full frame, even if unless I move it all the way back here. And for those of you wondering why Metroplex is why the side image of the back of Metroplex's box is sideways compared to the artwork on the front of the box, the main reason why this is because inside the box, Metroplex is packaged standing up like this. So the image here on the back of Metroplex's box is a preview to what Metroplex is ends up looking like when you get him out. And also another bit of interesting trivia. Infamously, when Metroplex was released for the first time, I am the Hasbro version of Metroplex. He comes packaged with one of his arms not yet attached to him. So there's assembly required for Titan Class Metroplex. Hasbro and Takara Tomy did the same with Titan's Return Fortress Maximus. Well, actually Hasbro did it on their version of Fort Max. He had one arm that was detached just like Metroplex. For some reason, Hasbro felt that not attaching the last arm allowed the figure to fit inside the box properly, even though from images I've seen you can fit the figure inside the box with both arms attached to it. So why in the world Hasbro let collectors attach the arm to themselves, I honestly don't know. Maybe they figured collectors would have enjoyment assembling Metroplex for the first time by themselves. So that is a bit of a letdown. But yeah, the image here on Metroplex's on the back of Metroplex's box, it's a preview for what Metroplex actually looks like inside the box. He comes packaged standing up this way. And the reason why the image of his arm is cut off, it's a joke to the fact that that arm is not yet assembled. When you get Metroplex for the first time, you will have to attach that arm yourself. Attaching the arm is fairly easy to do, but for those wanting Metroplex to be fully completed and fully assembled when he was released for the first time back in 2013, that was a bit of a shock to discover that you had to attach his second arm on your own. So thank you guys all so much. This has been part 1 out of my review of my multi-part review of Transformers Generations Thrilling 30 Titan Class Autobot Metroplex. This has been in him while he's still inside the box. I've seen video reviews where people covered everything, all the highlights there about Metroplex, and those videos tend to be over an hour long. So to increase everyone's interest in Metroplex, I'm trying to keep the reviews to under 20 minutes. So, thank you guys so much for watching part 1. Part 2, we will get Metroplex out of the box, take a close look at his robot mode. We will also take a close look at his partner Amper, and hopefully if I do have to attach Metroplex's stickers for myself, I hope that they'll stick in place, and that the 9 years of being in the box they haven't been exposed to any dust or anything. I saw a review once where someone who attached all of Metroplex's stickers. It took them well over an hour to get every sticker attached to their proper spot, and they said that it was no fun, and they actually sent a letter of complaint to Hasbro about how lengthy of a time it was to actually get all of Metroplex's stickers applied. And I believe I saw on some of the Transformers blogs that later releases of Metroplex, the stickers were pre-applied at the factory, so you wouldn't have to waste time to do it. I'll see when I get Metroplex opened if I have to attach the stickers myself. But thank you guys all so much once again, and stay tuned for the next part. And until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.